G'day, it's Shane here from Grape TV, and thank you for joining me at my home bar. But more importantly, thank you for helping me spread McLaren Vale wines to the world. Now, hot off the press for me, new producer, certainly never heard of them 3 days ago, and now trying some of their wines, so quite excited about it. It's called Creeper's Cutout Shiraz. Label's pretty hard to read, unfortunately. This is their 2009 wine. The vineyard was actually planted in 2000, been making wine since 2005, and selling grapes, most of the grapes, to various wineries, including Penfolds at the moment. So it has, on that basis, so you would expect it to be quite good. The interesting one for this for me is it's the opposite side of the Onkaparinga Gorge than McLaren Vale. So in other words, it's actually more residential Adelaide, if you like, and the Onkaparinga Gorge sort of separates residential Adelaide from the McLaren Vale region. Still considered McLaren Vale, but it's not normal, shall we say. So this particular wine's made from grapes from a section of vineyard that is brown chocolatey soils on top of clay, but there is quite a varied range of soil types on this particular vineyard as I was driving around it the other day. Getting aromas coming off it now. This wine's been open, I tried this wine 2 nights ago, it's been open 2 days with a lid on it. I just want to see what it would be like after a couple of days and give me a better idea of its aging potential, but certainly getting a lot of aromas coming off here. So this wine has definitely opened up from when I first tried it 2 nights ago. The wine was open for about an hour when I tried it, but certainly more coming off this than what I remembered. The other thing I like about this particular wine, it's the percent alcohol is in the 13s instead of in the 14s. So certainly no alcohol tinge to any of it, alcohol hotness. So I'm getting what I'd call classical McLaren Vale aromas. So I'm getting chocolate. The fruit is died back a little bit. It's, you know, the plumminess is there that you would expect. I'm getting some herbs. I'm getting some lavender, a bit of rosemary, a bit of thyme, and a bit of licorice in there as well. So I'd call that pretty. Oops, spilt some. Luckily there's a towel here to pick it up. Yeah, that's certainly opened up significantly more than what it was previously. Palate's really nice. Fruits died back a bit. 2009 was a really hot year, so I was worried about maybe this would be jammy and all those sort of things, but it's not. Lots and lots of herbs in here. Rosemary, lavender, thyme, and I'd say probably dried rosemary more than fresh, and lavender, but I'm really getting some fresh, say, thyme coming through. Really nice. There's a bit of minerality coming through there as well, so it's a bit, I suppose there's some slate elements to it. So I suspect the vineyard is potentially quite rocky, as an example. Yeah, that's really quite nice. There's not a lot of oak influence here, and that's one of the things that I think is quite stand out for this wine. So the tannin structure I suppose, is a little bit different. There is oak tannins in there, but not huge oak tannins at all. The fruit is really there to do its work. So that's a really interesting wine. The herbs. There's a bit of blackberry, bit of blackcurrant, which I wasn't quite expecting as well from a Shiraz. Just a hint, just an ever so hint of licorice on the back of the palate as well. Really quite complex, but complex fruit, not huge amounts of oak complexity from there. Look, I was quite taken with this. I tried wines from 05 to 09, and you could see the vineyard progressing. You could see the different various vintages. As I mentioned before, 09 was a really hot year and a really difficult vintage, but obviously was well looked after by people that made the wine. And I'm not getting the classical jamminess that a lot of 09s had, and certainly I'm not seeing that there was, how do I put it, a lot of winemaking tricks required to make a good wine out of it. This is, seriously a pretty good wine. Now, in terms of food, the thing I find interesting with this one is the range for the food is quite wide to go with this wine. Because the oak tannins are not there, it's a really, it's a drink now style as far as I'm concerned. The years from 09 to now has done it well, but I think, sure, it'll last longer, but I don't think it's going to get much better than what it is now. And certainly, in terms of the food, quite a wide range. Could you have a steak with it? Yes. Could you eat Chinese with it, as an example? And I use those as sort of the two ranges. Well, you wouldn't want Chinese chicken with it. It'd probably overpower that. But a lot of Chinese dishes would go well with this. A yum cha type arrangement where you're getting various, different things, tapas, those sort of things, getting various things across the table. This wine would go really well because it's relatively soft. And don't get me wrong about soft. There's complexity. There is strength in the wine, but it's soft in terms of oak. It's soft in terms of it. It's not aggressive on the palate or anything like that. It's a wine that you can just sit back and really enjoy drinking. So John, and by the way, it's John Creeper, so that's where Creepers first comes from. And the cutout is that that's the he takes his cut before handing it off to the other the wineries that buy the other grapes, the rest of his grapes. Really interesting wine, that one. Small production, only about 150 cases a year, I think, but definitely one to keep an eye out for. So look, that's all we have time for Lonely Grape TV today. Really interesting wine today. I'm glad I let that go for a bit, and keep an eye out for it. But until next time, have a great one and be safe.